Hello, welcome to the Water Festival. Today we're going to be talking about the world of water and how it interacts with the other worlds that are within the earth. Now, if you're wondering what do I mean by world of water and what these other worlds are, well, I simply mean the world of water is things like lakes, rivers, glaciers, and the other worlds are simply the world of rock and soil, the world of plants and animals, the world of air and wind. And we are going to spend some time looking at the connections between all these worlds, which incidentally have a scientific name. Let's go ahead and look. I think you might recognize some of these names. The world of water is known as the hydrosphere. Hydro meaning water, sphere meaning circle, like a world. Soil and rocks, that's the geosphere. Plants and animals, biosphere. And air is the atmosphere. I bet you recognize that one. We're going to start out by reading a little bit from this book called All About Earth. And we're not going to read the whole thing because it would take too long. But in this book, there's a group of students about your age, and they're putting on a play about the Earth's systems, all these spheres, all these worlds, and how they interact. And each student is a different world or sphere, and each student thinks they have the most important part. And they're kind of shocked and frustrated when they realize that everybody thinks this. So, where we're going to start to read is the teacher has invited each student to come forward and to explain why that sphere is the most important sphere. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And you can read along with me. Simon, your role is to represent water, said Ms. Patel. Please tell us about why water is an important part of the Earth system. Okay, I am water and nothing on Earth can live without me, Simon stated as he walked to the center of the stage. I fall from the sky as rain and help plants grow. Animals drink me. I help break down materials to make soil. I form clouds and help keep the Earth cool. Besides being rain, I am also snow, hail, and sleet, and I can be found in oceans, lakes, rivers, and other waterways. When I freeze, I become ice. Those are some pretty good reasons why Simon thought he was the most important as water. Well, as the students talk and they hear each other's perspective, they realize that there isn't one most important sphere. They realize they're all important, they're all connected, and they all interact with each other. So let's go ahead and take a look at all the rest of the spheres and how they connect with each other. Share my screen again. So in this section here, we can see Simon, and we can also see the geosphere, the world of rocks and soil, and also landforms, the sphere, the atmosphere of wind and air and clouds, and the biosphere of plants and animals. And you notice that they're each holding an arrow that points back and forth to show the connections. Over here, we see the sun, and the sun has a one-way arrow pointing to all the different spheres because the sun provides energy. The earth doesn't give anything back to the sun. And by this point, they had figured out that they're all important and they're talking about how they connect to each other. Now I'll share the ways water is connected to all of you, said Simon. Water has a lot of different forms. As rain, water helps plants grow. In clouds, water blocks sunlight and keeps the earth cooler. Some animals live on ice. Anita added, some animals also live in water in rivers, lakes, and oceans. Water has many more connections to everything than I realized. I think a lot of us might have realized that. We are going to spend some time looking at these earth connections in a local place, well, kind of local, Badlands National Park. So what I want you to do is to press pause and distribute the handouts. If you're watching this and you don't have the handouts, the link is in the show notes. Okay, welcome back. Let's go ahead and take a look at these handouts. Go ahead and share my screen. Oh, technical difficulties. Let's try that again. Much better. Okay. In the handout, we have Hydrosphere, the world of water. That is the title of the handout. There are also three different boxes: Hydrosphere and the Geosphere, water, rocks, and soil; Hydrosphere and the Biosphere, water, plants, and animals; Hydrosphere and the atmosphere, water, air, and wind. And in each of these boxes, there's a bullet point with a statement, several bullet points with statements. And the statements say things like water soaks into the soil stores the water. So what that statement is a description of the way the hydrosphere and geosphere are connected. Very similar to what Simon and his classmates were saying in their play. Plants and animals take in water. This is how water, plants, and animals are connected, how the hydrosphere and the biosphere are connected. Warm water will evaporate, warm air, excuse me, will evaporate water and melt ice. Hydrosphere and the atmosphere. What we're going to do is we're going to use these sheets to analyze some video clips so you can see the different spheres and how they're interacting. Let's go ahead and I'll fire up the first video clip. Now, when you watch it, I want you to be thinking about where is the water, what are the other spheres you see, and how are they interacting? We'll run the video once, we'll stop, I'll press pause so you have time to look at your sheets. We'll run it again, and I'll share some of my ideas about how those spheres are interacting. Okay, here's our first video. Okay, let's go ahead and press pause. You're going to consult your sheets, look at your sheets, look at the sphere, the water sphere, look at the other sphere, and figure out what the connections were. Talk about this with your classmates. Okay, welcome back. Oh, I'm sure you had some great ideas. Now, did you see the water? Yeah, there was flowing over the ground, and those of you who are particularly sharp-eyed probably saw the snow and the ice. So I'm going to play that video again and show you some other things that I saw. Go ahead, fire up the video. Now, it's important to note that these aren't the only interactions that are happening. There are many others, and I'm sure if you came up with others, they're good ones. Let's look at another video. This video is not going to be quite as easy to see, not quite as, the water is there, but you're really going to have to listen for it. That's a hint. Let's go ahead and Watch the video, look for the water, look for the other spheres, and think about how they could be interacting. Did you hear the water? That was rain. There was also a little bit of wind, and there was some meadowlark song. So I'd like you to press pause, find the connections, talk about them with your classmates, look for the spheres and how they're connected. Okay, welcome back. What did you see? Let's run the video again, and this time I will show you a few of my ideas on how those spheres were connected. Did you see the bison? That's a bison. I took all these videos so I can tell you exactly what was happening at that time. Not professional quality exactly, but I had a lot of fun making them. Okay, are you ready for another video? This one's going to be a little tougher to find the water. You're really going to have to put some thought into it. Let's go ahead and fire up a video. You may be wondering, weren't you pretty close to those bison? Not really. I had my camera on zoom and I was also in a car. So I was very, very safe. I go to the Badlands a lot. I don't get near bison. If one comes near me, I try to go behind and hide behind a car or a building or a picnic table. So let's go ahead, press pause, look at your sheets. Where's the water? How is it connected to the other spheres? Okay, welcome back. I'm going to play the video again. I'll run some of my ideas about what was happening between the spheres in that video. The water was in the bison. That was the first place I thought of. There's also probably water in the ground. I'm sure you had a lot of good ideas. Are we ready for our last video? And this one is going to be tricky, I promise you. I'll go ahead and show it. You might have a bit of a time figuring out what it is you're looking at. We'll talk about it right after you're done. If you were wondering, what was that bug crawling on? Well, that's a really good question. It was bison poop. And bison poop is part of organic matter. Anything that was once alive and now is dead, or anything that was shed that comes off of a plant or an animal, like a tree or poop or leaves or dead grass, all of that is organic matter. That's your hint for when you look at your sheets. See if you can find those connections. Okay, welcome back. I'm going to play that video again, and I'll share some of my ideas about what was going on there. I took all these videos, and here's the thing, you can too. You can do this exact same activity with your friends or your family. You don't need a phone to take videos because not everybody has one. So you can just use your hand videos and look out at the world and look for those interactions between different spheres. Do you see the water? Do you see how it's connected to the world of rocks and soil, or plants and animals, or air and wind? All of that's happening all the time. It's just knowing how and where to look for it. Thank you for participating in the Water Festival.